It is 5 p.m., December 18th, 2023, Jane Rhodes' last meeting. So it's time to call the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Ms. Rhodes, roll call, please.
Ms. Rhodes.
Present.
Mr. Austin. Mayor Barnett.
Present.
Clerk to call the floor.
Thank you, ma'am. Please stand for the pledge. Okay, is there any announcements or public comments that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will go to the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the minutes for the December 4th meeting along with the approval of claims.
And I will second, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
If there isn't any old business, right into new business. Request approval of change order number 1 for the Graham Road Extension Project. City Engineer Mark Richards.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. When this project was originally bid, the intent was to obtain fill material for the roadway from the construction of the Cold Summit property up at Graham Road and Earlywood Drive. The Cold Summit project was delayed, so we weren't not able to get any of the soil material from that site, so we had to have the contractor obtain material from off-site. This resulted in a change order in the amount of $165,137.70, and then deducting $51,416.50 for the on-site borrow that was originally planned. So this results in a net change order amount of $113,721.20.
Okay, and I want to just add so that Tina will be aware that this wasn't a surprise. It was something that we knew when we awarded the contract.
Okay. And we'll have plenty of change order dollars to address any other things that come along?
Yes, let me see if I can find the original contract amount here. Bear with me a second.
Is that contingency? Is that the terminology, Mark?
Well, there's a maximum change order amount for change in scope of 20% of the contract price.
Okay.
Contract price here is $1,768,000 even. That was the original contract price. That would result in about a $350,000 maximum change order amount.
Okay.
We're less than a third of that.
Okay.
And I also want to add, which wouldn't make a difference on the 20%, but we did also get a $650,000 grant for this project on Ready One.
Okay. Okay, so I will make a motion to approve change order number 1 for Graham Road Extension Project as presented by City Engineer Mark Richards.
And I will second. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Next, request acceptance of temporary and permanent sanitary sewer easement, the Schilling property for Phase 2 of West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor, City Engineer Mark Richards.
Yes, Mayor. The project we're continuing with acquisition of easements. We have a temporary construction easement and a permanent sanitary sewer easement that we would like to present for your approval.
And Tina, on this project, the project may not go for 2 or 3 years. However, we're trying now to start acquiring the right-of-way.
Okay.
So we're,
Mark, how close are we? I mean, we just finished another one today.
Yeah, we have about a little over a third
I
of
thought-
the
I thought we did.
parcels acquired. Yeah.
Knock on wood, we're a bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
Nice.
we have enough time to be able to resolve any issues we may run into, but yeah, we're in good shape.
I will move to approve acceptance of temporary and permanent sanitary sewer easements for Phase 2 of the West Side Sanitary Sewer Interceptor.
I will second. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item, approval of professional services agreement with Drake Construction, City Attorney Lynn Gray, and Street Commissioner Fleet Manager Brett Jones.
Brett and I will tag team this one together. This is different and unusual. And it arises from the damage to to our building and street commissioner. And Exhibit A that Tara's scrolling through there, you can see is an estimate that was provided to the city of Franklin. Brett's been overseeing this to repair the damage that was done at our facility. The reason it's a bit different is we had the emergency things that we needed to do to stabilize the walls and the parapets and things of that nature, which we did on an emergency basis. And then we started having contractors come in and try to look at us and tell us, what do we need to do? The exhibit that you're seeing there is what was provided to us by our insurance company, with the caveat that we think once a contractor gets in there, you're gonna find additional damages that you're gonna wanna submit. Am I doing this right?
Yep.
Because I wasn't
Yep.
there, that you're gonna wanna submit once a contractor gets in here. The problem that Brett and then vicariously I am running into is we are not structural engineers on larger facilities. This is not like just putting a roof on your home. It's a different kind of a facility. And we believe we've taken care of the emergency repairs to stabilize it, but we really need to get moving on the roof itself. And Brett, I think the insurance company wanted us to hire, what did they want us to hire? Something outrageous, or they wanted to, if you want to take it from there, Brett.
Well, the insurance company really was not able to provide any suggestions. I reached out to them and said, do you have any contractors of choice within the Indy Metro? And they were not able to provide any guidance from that. So, to be honest, I sort of just started asking roofing contractors that I, not familiar personally with, but advertisements and other things, and quickly learned that this is not something that the average roofer wants to participate in. And the reality is they're all interested in doing the rubberized membrane roof, but the fact that it's steel decking and steel trusses is where they lose interest. So, and not so much lose interest, but don't have the experience or comfort level with taking that project on. So
in comes Plan B. So how do we get this fixed? Because it's not just probably one contractor that can do it all.
Yeah.
So in comes Plan B, and we kind of address it like in the same way we would if we were gonna do a road, or if we were gonna do some other public works project. It is not uncommon for us, for instance, if we do something at the sewer plant, we often use Wessler's professional services to come in and ride herd on the various contractors that we would need, or we'll have Crossroads come in and maybe manage the contractors that we would need for a road, that kind of stuff. And so with that, Brett reached out to Dennis Drake, who has the familiarity with this kind of thing, and said, would you be, for lack of a better word, our construction manager on this kind of a project? Much the same way we would use Wessler, much the same way we would use Crossroads in other kinds of bigger projects, because this is a big project, really, it is. He agreed to do that. And what you have before you is the construction management contract that we basically tailored off of the same kind of professional services contract that we had with those other providers that I discussed with you. We would then, after we get him on board, would then develop specs and go out to bid. I got a feeling we're gonna have one, maybe two bidders on the whole project himself, and then he would actually be there on site every day overseeing that once we accept those bids. But we'll have to come back to you with the bids on what it will be to fix it. You'll see in the contract, in terms of, there's not a set amount for his services, but we did base it on 10% of what the insurance company said the expenses were going to be, and everyone knows those are low. We know there are going to be additional damages that they find when they get in there, but we can't get in there without damaging the structure until we start doing it. And that's why in Exhibit C, you'll say we put a cap on it, not to exceed amount unless we go back by formal agreement. So I wish I could give you more definitive answers, but we just, with this kind of a project, don't have them until we get in there and start doing them. And we really need to start doing them with winter coming on and making sure that, we did the stabilization, that's been taken care of, but still, you don't want to have a damaged roof or anything.
So it was probably in the document, and I didn't see it. I didn't see the amount. What is the not to exceed?
It is in the
I
documents.
apologize for that.
That's all right.
Thank you, Tina.
Brett, do you
Want
have it
that
in
for
front
the
of you, what
motion?
exhibit? It's, the not to exceed amount is,
25,000, yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 10% flat fee of the total approved contracts to complete the project, not to exceed $25,000 unless the approved contracts and change orders dictate otherwise, and approved being us if we get into something else. So a not to exceed 25.
Okay.
The contract that the insurance company had was less than that, but I'm just telling you right now, there's no way it's gonna get done for that minimal amount, and they recognize it's not gonna get done for that minimal amount.
Is that because they're factoring in depreciation or?
A little bit of that, a little bit of the unknown.
Okay.
The challenge has been getting some, I mean, it's not that we've not done anything since April when this
Yeah.
happened. I mean, it took almost all of May and I think half of June. They actually obviously sent their adjuster out. Their adjuster was like, hang on, this is even above my level of expertise. So then we had to wait on a formal engineering report to be determined, at which time that process, I think, was done in about June. I think we got insurance estimates in mid-June. So we started having contractor conversations in July. At time, that's when I realized, like, okay, this is deeper than we think. Because the other challenges are, there is, unfortunately, where it's at is also where the majority of our plumbing connects the front to the back. We have a significant amount of electrical, and so no one really knows until we're able to literally pull the roof back and figure out what all really needs to be replaced and how damaged are those things. And so, but at that same time is when I realized, like, okay, I know a little about a lot, but I don't know anything about steel structures and rubber membrane roof. So I thought, this is gonna be over my head. And I was just not comfortable with just hiring a contractor and then not having the familiarity or the expertise myself to oversee the project.
Yeah.
And Dennis and the reason it was Dennis, quite frankly, was he is the one that did the emergency block removal and then block repair. He fixed the parapet wall. He's familiar, as anyone, I think, is with that roof structure. And so it just kind of made sense that in conversation, I said, hey, I'll be first to admit, this is not my wheelhouse. Would you be willing to oversee this? Because I fundamentally wouldn't know until it was wrong and then it was leaking or whatever, would come next, so.
And unlike, the public works that needs to be done absent the emergency, obviously you don't have to bid if you've got an emergency, which we did. We got somebody out there immediately. But otherwise, when you're doing a public works project, you have to publicly bid it. But Dennis's role is that of professional services, and so we didn't bid that. We selected him because he knows that property and
Right.
he knows what needs to be done, even though he doesn't do it.
Brett, I just got a question. I remember when Joe was the mayor and I was on the Board of Works, the new roof was put on. So did the tornado cause this?
Yeah, because the challenge is to see it, there is now, again, there's a parapet wall that connects the office portion of our building to the garage area. And a lot of that, I think fundamentally was just fire suppression, and still is from when it was a truss manufacturing facility, right? But the tornado knocked the block wall down.
Okay.
And then,
Caused the damage?
yeah, about 40 to 45,000 pounds of block were then on top of that section of roof. And so that's what caused all the roof damage, was the block wall being destroyed. And then it fell on that membrane roof, and then all the steel decking and then the trusses that support that first about 15 feet are damaged. So that's the issue.
Wow.
But nobody really know, and then that's the challenge. No one, until we get that roof pulled back, we don't really know how far back the decking is bad. We can see the trusses, obviously, because they're exposed inside the shop, but we just don't know what really the decking's gonna look like.
It's
So.
not unlike when you get your car damaged. You can see the outside.
Yeah.
but when you get into it,
Lord
you
knows,
realize,
yeah.
oh, you've got a
Yep.
problem here, you got a problem here, and we're gonna have problems, and
Yep.
we just know we are. We
Makes
just don't know what
sense.
they are yet.
And so we've had conversations with Chubb, because when the contractor, and Dennis even came in, he's like, man, this estimate feels like it's missing a lot. And so the original thought was, do we look at hiring a public adjuster? Well, that started to get pretty muddy. And so in conversations with John Alden, our insurance company in Chubb, they verbally admitted that, hey, we understand that this likely grows
Okay.
once we get into this process.
I was
But
gonna ask that
same thing,
question.
right? And I mean, it's hard to put a number on something that you can't wrap your head around, so.
Yeah.
But most insurance policies do have a 1-year timeframe for
Right.
submitting claims, so we need to get on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yep.
Yeah. 'Cause
And,
they-
and I've been in communication with Chubb. I mean, they're aware of where we're at
Uh-huh.
in this process, and so it's not, I mean, we are under a deadline, but not tomorrow by any means, so.
But you feel like that they'll work with us?
I
on
feel like
the-
they will because, you know, obviously John especially, and I mean, nobody really wants to engage public adjuster, I don't think. And it just kind of, that sours the relationship, I think, between insured and insuree, you know, so it just kind of didn't feel like that was the right thing to do. So had a very open conversation and just discussed the things that we thought were missing in their estimate. And they agreed that they were anticipating additional expense on this project, so.
Okay,
But like Lynn said, unfortunately, the key is we just need to get started, so.
okay.
And the next phase then would be develop
enough.
specs with Dennis's assistants and Brett's assistants, develop specs, send them out, and get bids, open bids, and get somebody going on it. And I think we have one entity, given the type of year it is, it's really not a bad time to get roofing, because they're looking for jobs, so we have one entity that we think that will be involved, so we're on it.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Drake Construction for an amount not to exceed $25,000.
I will second. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item,
Thank you.
thank you, Brett. Request approval of task order 18 for on-call wastewater engineering services from Wessler. I'm thinking that's Sally Brown.
Yes, it is. We have this money already budgeted. However, we wanted to limit it to a certain amount, which this document says $15,000 not to exceed. We use Wessler all the time, especially for new sewer mapping. We have a lot of unknown areas in town, and they help us out as needed. Sometimes projects come up during the year, and that way they're set to a certain amount of money, not to exceed. And this is a good system for us because it keeps track of our spending with them. We're not planning any large projects this year, so we're going to do quite a bit of research and cleaning and televising on our own this year, and they might be needed. Might not.
Prior to Sally instituting this, what we just did is we had the money in the budget, it's professional services, and they just billed us. And this is kind of a good way for Sally to say, this is how much we've been spending on these things. It's a checklist, so.
So I just want to add one thing to that, Sally, if you don't mind.
No, please.
We said we're not going to work on any big projects this year, and as far as construction, we're not, that I'm aware of just yet.
Right, yeah.
However, we are going to, in the next few weeks, or the next month or so, Wessler will be here with a contract in front of us for a wastewater treatment plant expansion that we've talked about, and it's $1.75 million. So we will be trying to get that accomplished this year for maybe a 2025 construction or something like that, so.
Yeah, and this helps us keep our monies separate. As you know, this will be for the collection system, not the wastewater treatment plant. Totally different area of money in our budgets.
Okay, thank you.
I'll move to approve task order 18 for on-call wastewater engineering services from Wessler.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That gets us to other business, and I will make a motion to approve to file liens on unkept property. That is
Second.
presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So, moving along pretty quickly. Sally, we'll start with you with comments.
I don't really have anything. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, be safe, see y'all next year.
Okay, Mark?
I would echo Sally's comments and also like to say I've appreciated working with Jane for the last nearly 7 years, and you will be missed.
Brett?
I'm going to repeat all of that, I think. Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and yes, thank you, Jane. It's been an absolute pleasure over the last 8 years. Yeah. Well, from my end, it's always been a pleasurable experience, so what you say about me that I don't hear is okay, I understand. But it's been a pleasure, and congratulations, and thank you very much.
Sherry?
No, I have nothing else. Yep.
Chief?
Well, Jane, we've worked together for 17 years because she was at the firehouse secretary for us. When I got hired on, she was like the mom of the firehouse. She had 47 kids. And she didn't raise any boys, but she did raise some of us. So, Jane, we're going to miss seeing you here, so.
Thank you, sir. Chief Cochran?
Can't top that. Appreciate working with you, Jane, and I wish you the best, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Chip?
Jane will vouch for this, that I'm by far the worst person she's had to work with, because we have the most employees, and we move money around all the time. So thank you, Jane, I appreciate that. And now you can actually come and enjoy stuff at the amphitheater, so. Thank you.
Nobody will be asking me questions.
I know, see, it'd be great.
Tara?
Jane, I love you, and I enjoy working with you.
Tina?
Enjoy a well-deserved retirement.
Ken?
Jane, it's obviously been a pleasure as well, and basically repeating what everybody else said, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and enjoy your retirement.
Lynn?
Selfishly, I'm really sorry, but I'm so happy for you. This is. Absolutely. No, well, you know what? Come to the parking lot, we'll talk about something that isn't city business. I really do, but I couldn't be happier for you. You deserve every bit of it. Enjoy it. You won't be a stranger. I'll see you in Courthouse Square, so, yeah, that's great. Good for you.
Come to the grill ball.
That's right. Good for you.
Olivia, do you have anything to say about your boss?
Because I love her. I still get a few more days with her, so.
All right, well, I'm going to say something and you're going to sign off. I'm just going to, and I've said it, you've heard me twice now say the same thing. We go way,
Jean told you to say.
no, we go way back, and I can tell you stuff like 7th and 8th grade.
Do not.
Yeah. All right,
That's
we'll
not
keep that
right.
for ourselves, yeah, okay. All right, but I'm going to miss you too, Jane, and think the world of you. So now it's you, it's your turn, speak.
I will miss everyone, and I'll miss being in on everything. I like that, knowing what's going on, when and where and how. So it'll be a big adjustment, it really will be, but that doesn't mean I won't call and say, oh, what's going on?
Or you and Les just come to all the meetings and, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that.
She's not that good, right?
Les?
I want to go on record as saying, she has never, ever listened to anything that I said. She's always
But I do appreciate you all, and it's hard work. It really is. It's hard work for everyone. And I want to thank, the average person has no idea what all you guys do and how you do it. It's like I said this morning, if we could put all our money just in one big pot, and you need 10, you need 20, and we could just do that, it wouldn't be any big deal. But federal and state, they make it tough on you. They really do, so. But I appreciate it. I've had a blast. It's been something I was real happy that I ended up doing, so thank you all.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Enjoy.
Thank
Okay,
you.
with that, I'm going to make a motion to dismiss.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.